Right, I put a little tiny bit of bread flake on, and this is not a roach. And of course I've changed down to a 16 dam hook on a 3.5 pound line. This is going to be challenging. I'm not sure I'm going to get this in, whatever it is. It feels heavy. It was really heavy. I've got no leverage on it at all really. Well, hi again. I've come to my local commercial today, Fields End Water. It's the water I've fished a lot over the years, and it's the water where I sort of got back into fishing when we moved up to Cambridgeshire. So I have a bit of an attachment to it, although it does get a bit busy. And unfortunately all my preferred spots today are occupied when I got here. Possibly because the wind's blowing off that bank and people want to get out of the wind. So I've set up in a swim near the car park. A swim I have fished before, not very successfully, and a swim that never seems to be fished very much. Very rarely see people in it, so setting myself a bit of a challenge. I bought some maggots in the shop, so I'll start off on maggots, which is the easy choice, I suppose, if you're trying to catch fish. But I bought some bread, some sweet corn, even some hemp. But I bought a selection because I didn't know where I'd end up fishing. Anyway, I'm all ready to sort of start, and we'll see how we go. We got the wind blowing in our face. Much to my surprise, this swim plumbed quite deep, so we may be lucky. I don't know if the carp are on the move yet, but there are some good roach in here. There are crucians in here. Well, there's just about everything in here other than bream, I think. So I'll get going and we'll see how we go. But as I say, not quite how I wanted it to start today, but there we go. That's fishing. Just to give you a little bit of a look around the swim. I mean, say it looks fine. It's just people don't seem to fish it very often. The last time I fished it was years ago in the winter and caught a few roach. But we'll see. I've dropped maggots off the outside of those reeds there. I plumbed it up, and it's well, I don't know if you can see the float hanging off the rod down there, but it must be a good 4 feet. So maybe we'll be lucky. As I say, I've brought other baits, and I've also brought my ledger rod as well. So if all fails, I'll put a ledger out and see if that does any good. But anyway, as you can see, I've avoided the platform. I hate platforms, so there's just about enough space down there to get my chair set up. So we'll see how we go, as they say. I've got quite a large hook on for maggots. It's probably a 12. Really, it's a sort of compromise between catching smaller roach and the occasional carp turning up or something else. So I may have to drop down to something lighter if the roach start feeding and I can't hook them. But we'll start with a bunch of maggots and see what happens. Got to watch this bush here, because especially when I strike, because there's a good chance I might strike into it. Yeah, that drift's going to be a problem. I've plumbed it so I'm on the bottom, so it may hang on. It can be very difficult to, if you're getting sensitive bites, to tell the difference between the bites and the wash from the wind. As I say, if this gets too difficult, I'll change over to the ledger rod and just drop the ledger weight down there. That'll probably be a lot easier. I'm not sure if that was a bite or just snagged on the bottom. Looking at the hook, it might have snagged on the bottom, I think. Come here. There we go. Maggots are untouched. Something floating down there. Don't know what that is. A little jar or something. It's not mine. Yeah, this is going to be a bit awkward, I think. Maybe a ledger day. Right, I've put the float in the middle of the swim now rather than by the reeds, but it's just going to drift in. I think it's going to have to be ledger today. I love my floats, but this is just too challenging, I think. That's why all the other spots around the other side are occupied, I think, because they're in the lee of this wind, so it's nice and sheltered. Yeah, this is impossible for float fishing, I think. So we'll strike the other rod out, because this is not working. Well, I've got the same light ledger set up that I had at Erith last week, small Larsley bomb. I'm only going to be fishing just off the margin there. Bunch of maggots, and at least I can keep it in the same spot, because the float was just proving to be impossible. Difficult to see me line, and there we go. Much prefer to float fish. Maybe the wind will ease a bit in the middle of the day, but often it blows up more during the day. Well, no action yet. How long have I been here? I don't know. Fishing about half an hour, I suppose, 3/4 of an hour. But the other news is I've just met Graham and his wife. Graham being somebody who follows me on YouTube, and he recognised me sitting here and introduced himself, and we had a chat. It's only the second time somebody has spoken to me from the fact that they've seen me on the YouTube videos. There may have been other people who didn't mention it, but anyway, so it's always good to meet somebody who's watching the videos, and I did say to him today wasn't looking too clever. There will be a video, but whether any fishing it is another matter. I'm still on maggots. I'm still on the ledger just down off the reeds there, where I fed maggots earlier on, but not even any small fish attracted at the moment, so it's not looking too promising. I just had my first bite on the bobbin that was noticeable as a bite. It sort of went halfway up in one continuous action, and I struck, but nothing there. It's probably a smaller fish. Gonna have a job hitting smaller fish on this setup, I think. Oh, we've now got a grebe fishing in our spot, so that's probably not doing us any good, is it? He was right down by the reeds where I'm fishing. God, dear, oh dear. Oh, gods are against us today. While I was sitting here before I got that bite and sort of pondering what's the best thing to do, I sort of had half a thought to fish on these left-hand reeds here rather than on the right there, replumb the depth, and actually fish really close in. Oh, that was a knock on the bobbin. Fish really close in and keep the float in the calmer water, which is sheltered by the reeds. It's going to be really, really close, so whether whether that will produce anything, but if this doesn't work, and well, that was a little tremor then, something had to go. But if this doesn't work, that might be another option, because often you do get the fish very close to the reeds. If I'm quiet, I can behave myself. Unfortunately, in this spot, I've got no one anywhere near me. There's at least probably 10 yards of vegetation either side of me here. It's not fishable, so if nothing else, this is a very... Oh yeah, it's something. Oh, boom, 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 boom. As I say, I think it's a small fish. I can feel it bumping. I can holding the rod. I can feel it tremoring. It needs to be a more positive bite though. Something's just whacking at the maggots at the moment. Needs to be a bit more positive. Yeah. Had a good go at the maggots. Yeah, I think I'll try my float idea. Let's come back to this. Well, having plumbed up in the near side here to try my new strategy, the wind has veered and it is coming straight in my face almost now, although it's just eased off a bit as I started recording. But before, this was calm water just down here. It was in the lee of these reeds, but it's now pretty rough, so my idea isn't really working that well. I could pull the float over a bit, very difficult. Without fishing under the rod top. It may work. Oh, oh, it fell off, but we had a little roach on. Oh well. Okay. Oh well. It's working. I thought. Well, ever since I decided to try to float fish near the edge here, the wind has got absolutely horrendous. So I've ended up fishing literally just past these little reeds here in the bay really, and the float went under and I thought it was another tiddler, but it's not. It's a nice roach. Unfortunately you didn't see the bite and you didn't see me playing it in, but he's in the net, so I'll just get me disgorger in case I need it. We'll go down and take him off. It's a nice fish. Oops. Caught up here. Yeah. Or is it a rudd? It could be a rudd actually. Oh, I think the hook's come out. That's alright. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's more rudd than roach. Looking at the shape of it and the fins and the upturned lip, but if there's a few like this around, I don't mind catching these. Right, I've put on one of these Drennan red 16 hooks, barbless hooks, to 3.5 pound line, which may work better on the roach and the rudd. The problem is that if I get into anything decent, this rod is it's not like the match rod I have used over here where the rod gives a lot of protection to the line, but this rod's a bit more powerful, so it'd be probably quite difficult to get a big fish in on a 3.5 pound line, but that's assuming we get a big fish, which is probably unlikely. Let's see what happens. The winds, while I've been changing the tackle, the wind seems to have moderated a little bit. Right, let's see if that smaller hook reaps rewards. Oh, I literally just put the float in and it went straight away. I'm on my on my 16 hook, so yeah, I don't mind catching those all day. Yeah, we can catch these, I don't mind. I think this one is definitely a roach. Not sure where the line is, there we go. Yes, much slimmer body than the rudd. Yeah, okay. Well, we seem to be getting fish, which is the main thing. That's better. That's where I want to be, just on the outside of those reeds. Yeah, here we go again. Yeah, we've certainly got the roach feeding down there. Oh, oh well, you're back in. Smaller one this time. There you go. Right, I put a little tiny bit of bread flake on, and this is not a roach. And of course I've changed down to a 16 dam hook on a 3.5 pound line. This is going to be challenging. I'm not sure I'm going to get this in, whatever it is. Feels heavy. It was really heavy. I've got no leverage on it at all, really. Ah, hook's come out. Ah, dear. Oh well. That is the danger with this place. You fish for roach every so often. Oh dear. That was a good fish. a heavy fish. Well, the hook's still there. It obviously just lost the hook hold. Little tiny 16 hook. Either that, or I could have perhaps foul hooked it. Oh well, never mind. I've just noticed that that fish that I lost has actually opened up that 16 hook. The gape of the hook has been opened. Well, I assume that was a carp that just gave me a bit of fun for a short while. I don't know whether it was foul hooked or whether it was fairly hooked, but I just started using bread flake, a small pinch of bread flake on this 16 hook. See if that would tempt the roach. But I had no real control over it. It was doing what it wanted to do, and then the hook hold gave. So it could have been foul hooked, but the important thing is that they are moving around down there. There are carp moving around in these reeds. So I don't quite know what to do really, whether to get the ledge rod out again and put a bit of bread flake just down by the reeds there. Could do that for a while, I suppose. Stand more chance of getting it in on that rod. 6-pound line. Yeah, maybe I'll do that, just have a change for a while. Right, I've put a bit of bread flake out, literally just down by those reeds there where I had that bite. If there are carp moving around near the edges, I'll stick near the edges. I've got the bobbin on. Let's see what happens. I stand more chance on this rod than I did on the other one. Still be a bit of a battle though if it's a decent sized carp. It's getting to be a bit of a struggle controlling the float, and you know, on calmer conditions you can just leave it there and watch it, but it was just constantly being washed across by the wind, and so we're going to have a little spell on this. What's the time now? It's 20 to 1. Probably pack up around 3 or so, so let's see what happens. It's 2 o'clock and things haven't got any better. The wind has really kicked up now and it's clouded over, quite chilly. Got my coat on. Didn't have any touches on bread flake ledgered, so I've gone to a bunch of maggots now. I'd been trying out just on the left there by the edge of those reeds, but not even getting bites on maggots now, and they're not even coming back sucked like they were before, so it seems even the small fish have given in. So my latest attempt is I've just literally dropped a bunch of maggots down in amongst the reeds just on the edge here. See if something's patrolling around there, but it is quite unpleasant really at the moment, quite cold. I said 3 o'clock, but I may pack up a bit earlier because there's really no sign of life at the moment. Obviously if anything happens I'll come back. Well, that was a challenging few hours. I think it would have been a better day if I could have got my swim I wanted over the far side of the lake in the lee of the wind rather than into the face of the wind. It wasn't a complete blank. I caught those couple of rudd, I think they were earlier on, which were quite nice fish, and 2 or 3 roach and a few small tiddlers. Then later on I hooked into something rather large, which opened up my little 16 wire hook. I don't think I was ever going to get that in, even if the hook hadn't have opened. But after that the wind got worse, and the conditions got quite unpleasant really. So I've packed up just after 2. I was going to stay to 3, but I've packed up just after 2. I'm in the car park at the moment. I didn't try to record this by the lake. The wind noise would have been horrendous. Anyway, so as I say, it wasn't complete blank. It was a nice few hours by the lake, but it's a busy lake. There's always a lot of people here, and you're really challenged sometimes to get the spots you want. So anyway, thanks for watching. Few fish. If you liked it, just give me a like, please. Thank you, and thanks again to the subscribers. A couple more have subscribed recently. Thank you to those people. And as usual, until the next time, it's bye for now and cheers.